Welcome back to Detroit Garage. Got to do some welding, or I should say brazing, on this cast iron housing. The Deere housing is different than the automotive housings or the industrial housings. It doesn't share the same contour on the back side. One half is correct, fits the blower, or the it'll fit either the blower or the governor. And this is the configuration we're going to have on the Silver Series. The governor here on the passenger side and the blower on the driver's side. So here's the Deere housing. It doesn't follow the same contour. So the only bolts that line up are these two, and then there's three more that are on the outside like this. So what I've got to do is cut the Deere housing in two places, slice it down here, and then braze on a piece from this. Unfortunately, I don't have an automotive housing to use. So what we're going to do is hack this up. This is just an old number 3 off a skidder that I was going to throw out anyway. So we're going to sacrifice this, and with any luck, get it to work on here. What I've done so far is I cut the fill tube off. It was a cast iron piece, and I covered it with a piece of 1/8 inch mild steel, and then I brazed it on with silicon bronze. That worked out pretty nice. So in the past, I've done a fair amount of brazing, welding, cast iron with success. The problem is that cracks very easily. So we're gonna go baby steps on this one. I'm gonna probably run off camera, run a few experiments on another housing, or even this housing, and see how tolerant it is to different welds. The bronze rod was pretty nice, but the best rod I've used so far is the 308 stainless. A lot of nickel in it, and it brazed really nice. So if I can, I'm going to try to get away with brazing the 308 stainless rods, but I'm going to experiment off camera anyway. I'll bring it back when I make some progress. All right, so I brought the Deere housing, or the Deere plate down. So this is the plate off the 253 that ran this Deere housing. And you can see it had the blower here on the passenger side, much the same as a 353, same thing. So that contour follows the casing. But on this side, they had a different governor. It was a really unique governor. You could see the outlay of it here. I ended up selling it to a gentleman. So you can see the difference here. It's a good example of how different that is. So these two bolts share the same hole, and then from here on in, it's different. So the goal is to cut the other housing and mate it to this one, and have a leak-free, crack-free housing. Okay, so here's a different perspective. This is the Deere housing on a number 3 flywheel housing. See, this whole section is missing. So these two bolts are the only The only place they match up. All right, so I'm gonna start cutting. We're not. It's now or never. It's success or failure. So here's a good look at the back side of the industrial housing and how it's braced to run accessories. So it can run accessories off of here, both sides. So it can run accessories off the cam gears as well, like compressors, alternator drives, all things like that. So these two share, they're the same, but after that, the similarities are small. So what I'm going to do, these two bolts share the same spot, so I'm just going to cut down here, across here, and down here. I think that's how I'm going to do it, and cut it along here. So it gets started. I'm going to use cutter discs, unfortunately, but the way this cast iron is, it's pretty hard to cut out any other way. So cut down here, across here. Yeah, that should work really good. Well, there's one housing. It's not very good shape. All right, well, let's get this on the ground and then we'll have a look at this. It might be a bit lighter now. Well, that took about half an hour. All right, well, what I've got to do next is cut it here and braze it in, cut it here, and then braze it in. So I have to cut here because there's a bolt that runs into here for the transmission or the housing adapter. So we got to keep that strong, and then braze it in right here. All right, well, now that this piece is cut off, I can cut here and cut here and around the edge. All right, guys, we're making headway. Forgot the camera the last day I came in, so I had to proceed without you. So we cut the piece off this housing, and we've silicon brazed it on with the Tig. So Tig brazing on cast iron, and so far no cracks. And I'm cold welding it, so I'm not preheating the whole piece, so just little bits at a time. I still have quite a bit of brazing to do. Got to do this line in here, and I'll flip it over and I'll show you on the back side what has to be done. So here it is on the back side. So I still have to dress this up a little bit. And now I'm going to Tig braze this section in here. What I did is I used cast iron because it's the same material as a filler. And I brazed it on the outside. And now I'm just going to braze it on the inside. Let me put the intermediate plate down, and I'll show you how everything fits now. So that's how it fits now, all along the edge. Very nice indeed. And the blower drive is all set up, so perfect. Governor on this side, so governor's on the passenger side, and blower drive is on the driver's side. So we've got the blower on the driver's side and the governor on the passenger side. Almost finished. Just another couple hours of brazing. So I'm using silicon bronze filler rod. I experimented with a bunch of different rods. I tried some muggy weld rods I had left over from the Buddha weld job. I tried 308 stainless. That was really nice, but I was afraid that it's a little bit too hard and it might crack the cast iron when it cools. So I chose to take brazing with bronze, silicon bronze, and I think that's going to be plenty strong. So all it's doing is holding this section here. It's not really doing anything other than holding the blower, covering the blower really. It's not even structural, so I'm sure it's going to be more than strong enough. So it's happy times indeed. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to work on this side a little bit, and I'll show you why. So on this side I left enough room so I can drill and tap a hole for the flywheel or the bell housing. So that's got something to drill into. I've left a little bit of space there for the option in case I decide to take this area off here. I'm still having to think on that. So this side here, I'm going to build this up by putting some metal in here so I can drill and tap. If you see, I've just started a bit of a center hole there to give me an idea. So I got to build this area up here so I can drill and tap into that. And maybe even put something on the back side, because the gear's not going to hit down here. So let me clean that up and I'll come back and put some material in here. Okay, just a 1/4 inch piece of mild steel. I've wiped it down with acetone, and we're going to TIG braze that on and then build it up so that there's something to drill into. And I'll put another piece on the inside too, just to strengthen this up. We're almost out of gas, so hopefully I'll get this brazed up, then I have to go get gas. All right, well, we're almost out of gas, so I'll have to go get another bottle. We're out of gas now. So for these welds, I'm using AC and 100 amps on an AC feed, and cold welding or cold brazing. So we're just doing small sections. It works really good. No cracks so far. That's the goal, is no cracks. Okay, there's the inside. It's not pretty, but it's gonna work. I ran 2 beads, one down here and then one up here, and then along here as well. So that's plenty strong. So far, crack free. I'm just going to put a piece here, along here, piece of mild steel, and then we're calling that good. All right, well, the end piece is on now. I'm just going to buff it up and make it look pretty, and then I'll bring you back. So all the gear is clear. This is not normal for automotive housing, but the governor gear clears this one, and the blower clears that. So there it is, all done, ready for a bit of paint. So that should work out really nice, as long as it doesn't crack overnight. Well, there you go, guys. That's silicon brazing. That cast iron worked really good. No cracks. Maybe too soon to say, but I'll check in the morning, let it cool down, and I think we'll be okay. So one more step. To getting this housing finished. And now that I've got that done, the next thing I'll do is work on the adapter plate. So the adapter plate will be part 4. So we'll call this part 3, then the adapter plate will be part 4. Again, thanks for checking in, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.